4, page 2. Aim. How do body systems interact to maintain homeostasis? Do now. Can you name all 10 of the body systems that we discussed in the first page? Go ahead and see if you can fill in the 10 boxes on your handout now. Okay, if you need more time, go ahead and take a pause on the video. Otherwise, I'm about to show you the answers. So how many did you get correct? You should have gotten circulatory, digestive, respiratory, nervous, endocrine, excretory, immune, reproductive, muscular, and skeletal. If you missed a few, that's okay, but just make sure that you do remember all of the functions of each. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about the interactions between different body systems. So we're going to start with the circulatory and respiratory systems. Now, if we remember, the function of the circulatory is to transport materials through the blood, and the respiratory is to exchange gases. Obviously, gases need to get transported all over the body to all of the cells, even the ones in your fingers and toes. Whenever you breathe in oxygen, it goes into your respiratory system, into your lungs, and you'll notice the diagram of the lungs on the right. There's a small air sac all throughout, many air sacs all throughout the lungs called alveoli. One is called alveolus, in case you happen to see that on an exam or a question. Where inside the lungs, in the alveoli, is where the oxygen gets absorbed into the bloodstream, and then the blood can carry that oxygen to any cell all over the body. The same will also happen when it's returning carbon dioxide from those cells. It'll get transported back into the respiratory system via the alveoli, and then we can breathe it out as waste. The next systems that we'll look at are the circulatory and digestive systems. Now remember, we just said circulatory transports materials through the blood, and digestive breaks down food into small enough nutrients to be used by cells. So when we eat food, we use enzymes to break those macromolecules, those polymers, into monomers, and eventually, when they're small enough, they get absorbed into the bloodstream. This all happens in the small intestine of the digestive system. And if you look inside, so small intestine is just a tube, and inside are these ridges. And if we zoom in on those ridges, they're called villi. And they almost look like little fingers inside of the tube, and they actually assist in absorbing even more nutrients because it increases the surface area. So the nutrients get absorbed into the bloodstream, and then again, the blood delivers those to all the cells for cell respiration, so those cells get energy. Next, we'll talk about the nervous and endocrine systems. Now, we already hinted at the fact that these both send messages, so they are related somehow. The differences to keep in mind are that nervous system sends very quick messages through neurotransmitters, and the endocrine sends kind of slower messages called hormones. Both of them allow the body to regulate different processes, but the nervous system actually gives the message for the endocrine system to do its job. Again, we associate the nervous system kind of like the brain or the control center because it does include the organ, the brain. So that should be a good introduction for how different body systems interact. Again, it's not comprehensive. It's not all of the systems and how they react to each other because they all interact. However, it's a good start. So your summary question, you should either choose the circulatory and respiratory systems or the circulatory and digestive systems and explain the path of either a molecule of oxygen or a molecule of starch from when it enters the body to how it interacts with the body systems. So take a moment now, again, choose one of those sets of systems and explain how the path of either oxygen or starch goes through the body. You may do so. I will move on to just give you a quick recap. So the circulatory and respiratory system first start out by having oxygen enter the nose and mouth. It moves through the trachea, which is your windpipe right here. It goes into the bloodstream via the alveoli. Remember, these are these little air sacs that are within the lungs. Then, once it's in the bloodstream, it's able to travel to all the cells of the body through the circulatory system. If you chose the circulatory and digestive systems, it's a little bit different. So we're talking about a molecule of starch. So starch is a big molecule. It enters the body through the mouth via the digestive system. Now, of course, because starch is so big, first it travels through the esophagus, and then eventually it needs to get digested. Because it is a big molecule, we have to break it down into glucose, which is the monomer, within the stomach. Remember, the stomach has enzymes to break that down. Eventually, it travels to the small intestine, where it gets absorbed by the villi, which we talked about before, which are these finger-like projections, and then it's able to get into the bloodstream, and it travels through the body via the circulatory system.